We're from Foxborough Regional Charter School, and my name is Layla.
Hello, my name is Dante.
And I'm Marissa.
In 1721, smallpox arrived in Boston through the British ships. It was a rapidly spreading virus that people did not know how to control. The smallpox virus was extremely contagious and was spread by person-to-person contact. Smallpox victims experienced symptoms such as fevers, blisters, fatigue, and disfiguring scars, and death. Smallpox destroyed native communities who were incapable of fighting off the disease because they didn't have any immunity. Smallpox also entered the colonies through slave ships and was spread by enslaved people who were kept in unsanitary conditions. On May 6 of 1704, an enslaved man who was later named Onesimus was taken from the Windward and Rice coast of Africa on the ship Banks Island and brought to Boston on a slave ship. He was purchased by a Puritan congregation of a northern Boston church and was gifted to a pastor named Cotton Mather. Onesimus then joined Mather's household in 1706. Unfortunately, the only things that we know are from Mather's diary. However, church records and civic records show that he was real. We know Onesimus had a family and two sons. He was a veteran of war and a civilian captive. Throughout his time living in the Mather's household, Mather taught Onesimus how to read and write, mainly for religious reasons and business matters. However, Onesimus did not want to convert to Christianity because it was most likely that he followed a religion called the Akam. Mathers took this personally since Onesimus wasn't Christian. It reflected badly on Mathers. This frustration led Mathers to write a book on how to convert slaves to Christianity.
Onesimus was an African man who was a key factor in the reduction of the impact of smallpox. He brought the idea of vaccination of smallpox to Boston in 1721. We don't know his real name after Onesimus had joined Cotton Mather's household and was renamed to Onesimus, a Greek word from the Bible meaning useful. In his journal, Cotton Mather had described Onesimus as an intelligent fellow, but later said that he was useless and wicked, and had accused him of being a thief. Onesimus went to Cotton Mather and told him that back home in Ghana, his community would do an inoculation process to prevent themselves from getting smallpox. To complete the inoculation process, you use a thorn to pop the smallpox bump on a sick person and apply the germs into an open wound of a healthy person. By this time, about half of Boston was infected with smallpox. Yet, the people of Boston were still against the idea of inoculation called variolation at the time. Not because variolation was a bad idea, but because it was coming from an African man, so they didn't trust it. For that reason, the Bostonians rioted, and some attempted to attack Cotton Mather and threw a bomb through his window. They were enraged. A few colonists thought that it was also against God and their religion. The people of Boston insulted, threatened, and harassed Onesimus for his vaccination and the idea of Cotton Mather supporting it.
To protect himself and the people around him, Mather started to work with a man named Zabdiel Boylston. Zabdiel would then bring the reputation of the smallpox cure up, since they claimed it was made by Boylston and Mather. They also helped spread the word of the cure. In a result, 2.5 of inoculated people died. However, 14.3 who did not receive the inoculation also died. The smallpox epidemic helped give hope for future epidemics. Soon afterwards, Edward Jenner found a new way to cure smallpox. Lastly, in 1980, smallpox was gone and wiped off the planet completely. Onesimus, on the other hand, had purchased his freedom and then paid Mather to have a new slave work for him. Unfortunately, due to the fact that Onesimus was an African and black man and a slave at the time, he did not receive any credit for his contributions. Onesimus deserves his credit, and people should know about him because he contributed to the development of vaccines. Onesimus is not the only black person who did not get his credit. There are many more who have contributed greatly to the development of our modern world. I think it's very important that students and teachers educate themselves upon the topic of Black people in history. Black people have made a huge impact on our world, and they need to receive credit for their contributions.